Hello everybody. I want to take a few minutes to review how to find the number of significant digits in a measurement. And before I even begin that, I want to re-emphasize that we have to have a measurement in order to even worry about counting significant digits. If I have a number that I'm simply counting, such as I count 20 people in the class, I'm not worrying about significant digits. Don't have to, because that's not a measurement, and these things deal with measurements and measurements only. So if you look at the screen, I have some measurements all set up. I want to know how many significant digits there are. Now I know in the notes I gave you a bunch of rules that tell you which numbers do count, but there's an easier way to do it too. If we take a look and see which numbers do not count as significant digits, we'll realize that all we have to do is look for these things right here. Look for zeros. But the zeros have to meet a couple of qualifications, and here they are, starting with where you see A. A says zeros that end whole numbers, and whole numbers only. Now look at example A, 4,000 milligrams. That's a measurement that is most likely rounded off to 4,000. It could actually be 3,999 milligrams. But because these three zeros here end whole numbers, they don't count as significant. I will count that 4. So this number has exactly 3 significant digits. Zeros that end whole numbers do not count. Let's look at B. 155,000 kilometers. That is a whole number. Therefore, the zeros at the end do not count. This leaves us with the 1, the 5, and the 5, giving that measurement 3 significant digits. Now I want you to look carefully at C. 8,400 centimeters, but I want you to notice right there we have a decimal point. That changes the 8,400 from a whole number to a decimal measurement. Therefore, the dot there tells us I mean exactly 8,400. That means those zeros are going to count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant digits in the 8,400 that has a dot. Now as I clear all this off and rewrite it again, just to make sure you see, now you can see all the numbers again. 4,000 has 3 significant digits because those zeros are at the end of the whole number, they don't count. The same with B, 3 significant digits, the zeros that end the whole number don't count. But on C, they all count because the dot is a decimal point, no longer a whole number. Consider that a decimal and count those 2 zeros at the end. Now if I look at D, I have zeros that don't meet the qualification. I know the 2 is right, I know those 2 zeros are right, and the 5 and the 6 and the 7 is the estimate. Since those zeros are between other numbers, they do not end a whole number, they all count. This gives me 6 significant digits for this measurement in D. I look at E, I see 24.006. The zeros are not at the end, so they do count. We have 5 significant digits here. In F, there are no zeros to worry about. And since every number that's not a zero counts, I can very easily put 4. So I'll take a moment, let you look at the numbers and how many significant digits before I move on to part B. All right, so let's take this off, and then I can scroll down to part B. Okay. Zeros that begin any number do not count, and that could be a whole number such as, let's put 412 up here, and of course we'll make it a measurement. Now there's an unlimited number of zeros that are in front of that 412. Notice I didn't put a decimal point, so this is a whole number. These zeros we don't see. So even if they're written, we're not going to count them as significant. So 412 milliliters will give us 3 significant digits. All right, let's clear this off and now look at the examples that are on the screen. I took a measurement of mass of an object and I got 0.00035 grams. See, the thing is, the zeros in this case are simply placeholders, which means they don't count. All they really do is they tell us that that 3 is in the 10,000th place value. So I actually have 0.00035 grams, I'm counting only 2 significant digits. Because those zeros begin the number, they don't count. Same with H. Now look, I have zeros that begin the number, and I also have zeros that end this decimal number. The rule says zeros at the beginning do not count. This is not a whole number. It is a decimal. Therefore, the 5, the 0, and the 0 all count as significant digits. Those zeros at the beginning, they don't count. The zeros at the end, since this is a decimal, they do. All right, how many significant digits do you think are in I? 0.01. Zeros at the beginning of any number do not count. Therefore, this measurement of 1/100th of a kilogram has 1 significant digit. And really, that is all there is to it. So I'll let you see the rules one more time. Zeros that end whole numbers, they do not count as significant digits. Zeros that begin any number, they do not count as significant digits. Every other zero and every non-zero number, they count as significant digits. I hope this helps. We'll review it as we get into class, and you'll be ready now to answer those questions on the test. Thank you. Good night.